So, dear brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, I think today's topic is encouraging to a certain extent to want to prove who's better, right? Well, this is quite a common nature of competitiveness in our society. So when we look at betterment, we should always look at something more higher than what we think, commonly think. So the title said, are women better Buddhists? So firstly, I think we should look at the word Buddhist. What is a Buddhist? Right? In Malaysia, when they do the survey of how many Buddhists in Malaysia, do you know how many? The percentage is very high. Most people declare, most Chinese, they declare themselves as Buddhists. And I heard in the 2010 statistics, they say there are about 19.5 to 19.8% declare themselves Buddhists. So that means in Malaysia we have about 5.4 or 5.6 Buddhists. But when you look around, do you see that many? Why? Commonly because when we are young, in our birth certificate, when we are asked, what is your religion? When you talk about religion, interestingly for Malaysian especially, we will tend to say we are Buddhist. I mean, looking at my own grown-up period when I was young, I also declare I'm a Buddhist. But what we have at home, especially the Chinese culture, but I think Sri Lankan from very young, when they say you're Buddhist, you mean it because you take refuge in the Triple Gem, then you observe 5 precepts. That is a basic. When I said we are Buddhists. But for the Chinese, when I say we are Buddhists, basically we actually also pray to certain gods. Whether we have a Buddha image at home or not, we also say we are Buddhists. And I think the closest connection to Buddhism for the Chinese is Guan Yin. Besides Guan Yin, of course, we have other devas. But all in all, we say we are Buddhists because there's a certain connection that we are told that we are Buddhists. But now coming to today, in 2019, I think we have to have a lot of gratitude to our late chief and also a lot of senior monks who came to Malaysia to give this knowledge of what being Buddhist is all about. Because from a Chinese background, we know that there are a lot of culture, tradition, that is connecting to prayers, and because we also exposed to, let's say, Guan Yin, and earlier also we are exposed to most likely Amitabha. So those are the connection that we say that we are Buddhists. So now, if accordingly we look back to the early teaching of the Buddha, most people, how they come to become the follower of the Buddha, at the time we say follower of the Buddha, is because after listening to the Buddha's teaching, and they get so inspired, they understood truth in certain perspective, certain level, and they start to declare, oh Lord, I'd like to be your disciple. Please accept me as your disciple. Those who want to go forth. But those who are not going forth, they will say, Lord, please accept me as your follower. From today onwards until I die, I will be your follower. So, as we know, the Buddha said, to follow him, of course, is not just to admire him. The best is to follow the teaching, because it's that teaching that make him the Buddha. Right? So when you say we are Buddhists, number one is normally they take refuge in the Buddha. Number two, the Dhamma. Number three, the Sangha. So why take refuge in the Buddha? Because the Buddha has gone through this path and found the truth, found the way to overcome human suffering, and the suffering of all beings, and how to overcome that so we can be free from suffering, and his way to overcome it. So that's why we take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And then next, after taking refuge, now come to the next stage. We can declare our aspiration and connection, but if you do nothing, nothing happens. Right? So that's why the next thing is to practice. So in English we always say observation of 5 precepts. 5 precepts is not just to observe; it's to be practiced. Right? So this is very important for us to understand. So therefore, the basic thing for being a Buddhist is taking refuge in the Triple Gem, meaning whatever actions we do, we try to, we can say, imitate and follow the Buddha's way and his noble disciples' way, and based on the teaching, because it's through that teaching the awakened attain that freedom. It's through the teaching that all the noble Sangha was actually they were developed. And through this teaching, we all also will be able to do so. So now today we call ourselves a Buddhist, right? So that is what it means to be a Buddhist, right? And so in this respect, as a Buddhist, now the question is like, who is better? The men or the women? Now, okay. The other day I was invited to a talk of a forum, a forum with our Muslim friends, and they invited us to want to know from our perspective, how the Buddhists, or how Buddhism look at the role of women, in the society. And interestingly, when we open up to see, then we will see a very different perspective from those practitioners. I think most of the time, because when they invite the lay people represented, and this time, since Sister Piling was busy, couldn't go, and Professor Ong also very busy, so they say, Aya, why don't you represent BMSM to go there? I said, okay, I go. And because of that, hardly, I think, when the poster that they print out, with all our Muslim, what they call those sisters who was giving talk during that time, Ustazah, then of course, when they appear in the poster, there's a nun face there, Buddhist nun. So at the beginning, I think they were a bit concerned. But then they move on to invite us still to move on with the forum. And at the beginning of the talk, I was just sharing with them. I said, the first thing, the role of woman in society, from Buddhist perspective, I say, the first thing I said, because we have to speak also Bahasa, our respect. So I said, the role of the woman, I think the first thing for the Buddha that, we learn from teaching is that Buddha focused a lot on, I say, perbedaan insan, the development of the being, development of the being. The Buddha never said man or woman. Being, the development of the being. Then you talk about family, then you talk about community, the society, and then the country. So that is, I think, very key to the development. And secondly, I say, then after that, I also share with them, I said the second thing is that the Buddha talk about is, the Buddha didn't talk about rights. Nowadays, modern time, we talk about human right, right? Women right, all the rights. Even animal also got right. Who gave them the right? Yeah. And then I say, when you talk about human right, we sometimes propagate about human right, but the same one who propagate the human right send bombs and wars to kill human. Is that right? So that's why I said the Buddha also from very beginning, from 2,600 years ago, have never talked about your right, my right. Because if you talk about right, it's always like, I am right, you are wrong. Right? And that is what it is. Yeah? So it's dangerous when you talk about right, because if I'm right, I'm sure you're wrong, right? So that is how we think. Yeah? And this is dangerous. I said, so that's why the Buddha actually gave us a very profound teaching. Profound way of how being can develop themselves. Yeah. Basically, the Buddha talks about, in the Sikhavada Sutta, the Buddha talks about your duty and responsibility. Yeah, I said, in the society, for the individual, we have a network of relationship, yeah, which is reciprocal. Yeah. So what are they? I said, the first thing is, we play many roles in our life. When we talk about relationship, the first thing we always think is our partner. That's all we think. Yeah. But what is this relationship? The Buddha talk about 6 kinds of relationship, which is reciprocal. Means each of it has its own package of duty and responsibility. Yeah. And the first one is to the east, the Buddha talk about from our life, from very beginning of our life, the first relationship that we have is parents and children. Yeah, parents and children. Now, second, the Buddha talks about after you grow up very young, next you will go to school, right? Teachers and students. Next, when you grow up some more, and you find your partner, right? Husband and wife. Yeah. Then next, very important things in life also, your friends. Throughout your life, your friends. Yeah. And then next, you have your relationship with the monastic. Yeah, monastic and lay. And the other one is when you go to work. Yeah, between your employer and employee. So in these 6 relationships, yeah, we all have a different role to play. So mainly, number 1 is as parents to children. Yeah, what is our duty as women? Yeah. Also as a teacher, what is our duty? As a wife, what is our duty? And as a devotee, a lay devotee to the monastic, what is our duty? And as a worker, employee, what is our duty? But not only that, also on the other side, as a daughter to your parents, what is your duty? Then as a student, then as a friend, yeah, wife, then also as employer or. So those duties is very, very important, and the Buddha also has spelled out it very clearly. Yeah. So if everyone do their duty and responsibility well, then there's no issue about who is better, right? Everyone will get the best out of the service from each and everyone, right? So I think the most important thing that we need to know, like being a Buddhist, a female Buddhist, what is our duty and contribution that we can bring about the betterment of our family, of our society, even our Buddhist society, and also to the larger community. So I think that is very, very important. In order to give us a better picture on, even the development of women today, we look at the history from during the Buddhist time. Yeah? So we know that the fact of the society that make up from the past until now too. There's always progression in development. And so you know that from Buddha's time, even after the beginning of the teaching of the Buddha, the Bhikkhuni Sangha was only developed after 5 years of the Dhamma. The first, of course, the Bhikkhu Sangha was formed, with the 5 ascetics, and then after that 60 of them, and from there we knew that the first Upasaka, which is Ramayasa's father, the first Upasika is Ramayasa's mother, and that was formed during that time. But it takes some time for the Bhikkhuni, what they call order to come up. That is after 5 years. And we know that society at that time, the way they look at women, is very different because of the culture, tradition, the caste system, the way they look at gender. All have like their own belief system. So when they have a very thick belief system in something, it takes time to make changes. Right? So during that time, women are called to only have 2-finger wisdom. Women are perceived to only have 2-finger wisdom. In a way too. In the kitchen, when you cook rice, you take the rice or cook 2-finger. Right? 2-finger wisdom means you're very good at that. Right? So other than that means they are not into, whatever. What more about spirituality? And because of the caste system too, that women are dependent. At that time, the belief system is so. They are very dependent, meaning when they are young, they have to be protected by the father. When they become adult, they have to be protected by husband. When they become old, they have to be protected by the son. So it means their life is perceived to be dependent. And if they are not protected by all this, they can become very vulnerable to others. So this is where, even for the women, from very young, they are already being cultured in that way. So for the women to come up, it takes a lot of courage. So that's why during the Buddha's time, when the Buddha started to preach and started to form Sangha, the Sangha, and the community of the noble disciples, and then later, of course, it was extended to all those who are interested to develop their mind and to aim for freedom. Then we can see the community of the women too started to learn. So when they started to learn the Dhamma, that time no education system like us. Got international school, private school, many kinds of home schools, and many, they don't have. The earlier exposure of education is to the Buddha Dhamma. So through that, then they gain that confidence. And who are they? It is the royalty. Women that is exposed to this teaching. And then from there, then of course we know from history, the stepmother of the aunt of Siddhartha Gautama was the first one to wish for that. At that time, she has also done her duty. Her husband, King Suddhodana, has passed away. And then the others, their husband has, have renounced and become monks. So they too thought, it would be a good opportunity for them to practice. It is from there, and in the history, since long ago, women will have to, brave themselves, to prove themselves that they are able. So this is where, when after the Buddha left Kusinara to go to Vesali, of course the first request, and Queen Mahabhajapati was asking to see whether they can be ordained, the Buddha just said, don't say that. Yeah, Gautami, don't say that. The Buddha never said no, you know. A lot of people say, Buddha say no. Not really. The Buddha just said, don't say that. There's reason why the Buddha says so. Yeah? As we know that for the society to transform, it takes a lot of understanding and support. Yeah. So at that time, we know that it's very difficult because the idea that people have for the women, yeah, the belief system, yeah, and also because the nature of going forth, yeah, that monks, they're staying in the forest, they travel from one place to another place, they don't have four walls to protect them. What more women, right? So this is where at the beginning the Buddha did not take it as something for them to accept them to be in, yeah, because the nature to cater for all this condition for proper growth, yeah, and so we know that the women never give up. And do you think women is very determined? When they want to persuade something, they really all go all the way. They can do so. So for Mahapajapati, Gautami, and Yasodhara, and the group of royalties who were so determined that they wished to go forth. And can you imagine, from a luxurious life, yeah, they really go on foot. Yeah, they shave themselves, yeah, and they don the yellow robe. They can prepare themselves very well. Only to ask permission, please, yeah, give us that going forth, right? So they follow the Buddha all the way. Yeah? So when we talk about endurance of pain, women can endure better. You know, to give birth, yeah, women can endure pain better. Yeah, so they go all the way on foot with blister, bruises. Yeah, although they cry, but they still determined to do that. Yeah, and finally, of course, they were accepted. But we know that, of course, it's still later, but the condition was there. Yeah, to be accepted, and the Bhikkhuni order started. Yeah, so now the history again we look at, yeah, how then Buddhism flourished with the four Sangha, right? So from there, the Buddha also said, although there's a bit of like, you know, at the beginning, you know, condition, waiting for the right condition to ripe, then later the Buddha said, when Mara approached the Buddha talks about the four Sangha, yeah, because Mara approached him, you know, Lord, you have enlightened, so it's difficult enough to teach people. I think you also find difficult. Yeah, we have 5.4 million, but very difficult to get them into the temple. Yeah, so during the Buddha's time, also Mara comes to deter him, so he don't teach. Yeah, and so you know it's difficult, you know, to teach, and people may not understand. Yeah, but then the Buddha told Mara, you know, not until, you know, my Bhikkhu Sangha, Bhikkhuni Sangha, yeah, Upasaka and Upasika, yeah, when they are well versed in the Dhamma, they can, they understand, they can talk about the Dhamma, they can explain about the Dhamma. It's well practiced, and if people are not, don't understand about the Dhamma, they know how to explain to them, and if they have misunderstood the Dhamma, they also know how to correct them. Right? So from very beginning, the Buddha talks about these four assemblies. So meaning, no one is better than another, right? This four is very important. Yeah? So just you look at this table now in front of me. If one table is, you know, one leg is missing, you think stable or not? We cannot say men is better, neither women, isn't it? And we cannot say only the bhikkhu and bhikkhuni, no. Without the support of upasaka, upasika, also cannot. Only two legs, then it will be not really usable. So this is where we have to understand where the Buddha's approach come to. We are talking about the well-being, developing a being, a good being, a wholesome being, a pure being. And this is where we can lead the society, where this is where we can lead the Buddhists to a proper practice and being a real Buddhist. Yeah? And so in this sense, we see from the history, of course, we know that the development take place. But of course, if you look again at the women's contribution, I mean, if you look back on the literature side, you know, how many Theragatas and Therigatas? Theragatas more, right? More Arahants, monk, right? Yeah? So we don't compete. Because why? Those who practice only can attain that. It's not about women or men. Yeah? So we can see even from history, right? And why, when we look, we fast forward to now, let's look at Malaysia, okay? Do you think monks more than nuns? Yes, definitely. You know how many bhikkhunis in Malaysia so far now? We have about 6. 6 only. Yeah. Just, you know, coming up, yeah. And of course you see monks around, right? Many monks around, yeah. So again, I say, it's not a competition who is better. I think it's the development is very important, yeah. But now when we look at the, what you call, the temple, which one more? Female devotee more or men devotee more? Let the men say, women win, right? Yeah, so you can see the different role, huh? Yeah, so, but now we look at the development, when we said to be a better Buddhist, yeah, to be a better Buddhist, I think that is the key thing, yeah? Because when we were asked, you know, like I said, 5.4 million, but most of them, when I asked them, they said they are Buddhists. When I asked them, do you know Four Noble Truths? They look at you, stare at you. What is it? Noble Eightfold Path? Don't know. Huh? Even some, they say, taking refuge in the Triple Gem? Don't know. Yeah. So this is our role, yeah, to be a better Buddhist, so we can share and educate more other Buddhists. They claim themselves to be Buddhists, which is good lah. They want to join our camp, you see. But we need to educate them, because without the education, when people ask them, they don't know. When people prod them further, they got shaken. When they prod them further, then they convert. It's true. Right? So when I talk about Buddhists, do we do conversion too? What do you think? Do Buddhists do conversion? God will say no. You know our Buddhist conversion, how the Buddha convert people? If you're stingy, the Buddha will convert you to become generous. If you're always angry, he will convert you to have more metta, more loving kindness. And if we are ignorant, he will convert you to become more wise. So Buddhism also do conversion. Not saying don't have all. Yeah? So this is where the aim of a Buddhist, to be a better Buddhist, is to transform from a very stingy person to become generous, charitable. Yeah? And from having ill will, jealousy, anger, hatred, which can cause lots of problem to ourselves and to others, to be converted to become more humble, gentle, you know, loving, kind, you know, compassionate. Yeah? And also from ignorant, to have wisdom. Yeah? So this is a very important thing that we have to have in mind. And so in a way, for us to grow, and to be a better Buddhist, we need to know what the Buddha actually taught us. Yeah? So that's why in comparison, actually, do you know that in Malaysia, the index for statistics, for the rest of the measurement, like for leadership and other things, of course, men still are leading the high posts, managers, CEOs and all those things. As for education, you'll be surprised. Women are surpassing in Malaysia. Yeah. Now, so we see, through education, only through education we can transform people. Yeah. Of course, worshipping is one part of the devotional part, but just worshipping we cannot transform. It's through education. This January I just went for a Bhikkhuni ordination, in support of the International Bhikkhuni ordination in Bukhaya. And we met this Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. He was sharing us, how transformation can take place in none other than education, he said. Helping by just material cannot really transform. He was sharing with us that I think they have projects in Cambodia or somewhere. When you just give material things to them, I say, people will come forward to receive, but there's no transformation. So what they did is, they deal with these parents. They're very poor. And if they can give their children for education, the deal is, they give their children to go to school, and they will be given some support, like rice and all those things for their livelihood. That is the exchange. Then the children go to school. So he said, after some years, maybe 10, 15 years, then he said, you can really see some transformation. Why? Now these children from this poor school start to become teachers, lawyers, engineers, and doctors. Then they go back, they can transform the society. Because how much can be helped? Material. After they take, that's it. They will come back for the material again. So it's only through education that transformation can take place. So now women today, as what we are here today, 2019, like I say, in Malaysia, we are talking about Malaysia, women now are surpassing men in education. So this is a good sign. No more two-finger wisdom. But having said so, we have to come back to the Buddha's teaching again. Yeah, look at ourselves. Yes, maybe in terms of paper, certificate, diplomas, degree, or postgraduate, we may be more. But we have to look back again. How can we maintain a betterment for mankind? It is coming back to our reciprocal relationship. What is our role? What is our responsibility? If we don't play the right role and responsibility, society will be in chaos. Women are very, very important in nurturing human. If we have high education, but we forget this basic role, then we also contribute to the chaotic society. So that's why during the Buddha's time, when King Pasenadi was informed that Queen Malika gave birth to a baby, so he was not very happy. He was a bit upset. And then he was with the Buddha, and he asked the Buddha. And the Buddha said, King, do you know that lady, a wife who is respectful of their mother-in-law and nurturing the son well is very great, because one day the son that he actually nurtured can become a great king. You see, it's mother's role, very important. Why the Buddha mentions specifically, also must be respectful of mother-in-law. Means you are treating the elder just like your own parents. So it's so important. Means the elder side also we are respectful. Then we can show a good, a role model to our younger one, because generation take instruction from the elder. Right? So these are the important role that women is famous for nurturing. But if we play our role to nurture well, then we will find that society can be transformed. The being can be transformed. Yeah. So this education is to help us, because in the past we were kept in the dark. We don't know anything. Yeah. Just only take care of cooking. Yeah. Now we have extra knowledge to know how to nurture, how to do our best to bring them up. Yeah. And so we have to play this role very important in the first relationship as mother and child. Yeah. So of course, as a daughter, we also have our role to play to support our parents when they are old. Yeah. And also to help them in whatever way, and to understand them. Because why? When a person grow old in a family, if you have old elderly in your family, you can understand, that we call second childhood, right? Because when we are old, yes, everything start to slow down, deteriorate, and without good understanding, we may, intentionally or unintentionally, we may mistreat them. Yeah. So this is where, again, being human, yeah, we have to understand the stages of birth, aging, yeah, sickness and death. Yeah. So the first role, I think, as mother, we have to play our role well, because this is where we start to nurture a good being. Yeah. And the Buddha said, firstly, to see that if our young one is not correct, we have to correct it. Yeah. Nowadays, a lot of parents say, I don't know, he like that or he like this law. So if you don't know, then who know? Right? And if everything your child like, you just follow. Sometimes what they like may not be good. What they don't like may be good. So if you follow their like and dislike, then you'll be in trouble. A lot of time, parents, yeah, especially because mother is the nurturing, father normally working, right? Mother now, of course, they also work and also have to take care of the house and the children. So in whatever capacity, remember, the nurturing part is very important, teaching them the right things. Yeah? If they have done wrong, we must take the effort to correct them. And importantly, like I said, not the material so much, but the teaching guidance. Yeah? Especially like I used to tell parents, don't ask your children, what do you like? Is it common to you? Quite common to us. Even our, what they call Sunday school teacher, we went for picnic, they will take the food and ask the children, do you like this? Then after that I told them, why do you ask them like that? When you want to introduce something to the children, you should tell them, let's say you want to introduce them banana. So first you have to tell them, this is a banana. And then what is banana good for? How does it help us? And then after that, at the end you say, okay, today let's eat banana. Right? So everybody will eat. If you take the food and you think, do you like banana? Finish story. Right? So are we coaching them? Are we nurturing them? Are we teaching them the right thing? No. But we are so used to ask, what do you like? Yeah? So I like, I want more. I like, you don't give me, I get angry, I show my face. So now you see, the way we nurture is in the wrong direction. But it's so common. We see ourselves, we see our neighbors, we see everywhere we go, especially restaurant, you are here, they will ask, what do you like? Yeah. So this is where we have to look back, simple Dhamma, but the nurturing part, are we nurturing the right way? So again, I said, material doesn't really work well. We have to come back to the education, proper education, how to be a wholesome being, a holistic being. Because why? When we are able to do so, it actually makes us becoming a better person. So now, this is only we are talking about as parents. And the first, to correct them, coach them. Second, if good things that they have not learned, what should be done as a mother? Introduce them. And as you introduce them to Sunday schools, bring them. If you don't bring them, what would you do? Now they're all very addicted to handphone, right? So, of course, you ask them, would you like to go to the temple? Of course, no. Hardly you will say, yes, mom. Right? So, never mind. Encourage, bring. Yeah? Because if you don't do that, they're very difficult. Yeah? You know that they will go on one way, you're on the other way. So now you see in this hall, all are nearly all 50s above. You see? So the young one, yeah? And also very important, how to bridge to them. So as parents also we must have knowledge, yeah? To bridge to them so they will be able to be interested. Yeah? Recently also I went to, I was from UKM, the UKM BA, the UKM Buddhist Fellowship. And so I was told, in my time, yeah, I told them also, I said, 34 years ago I was in UKM, time passed. And I say, when we have common class, the Dhamma talk, there are 200 to 300 people. We have English session, we also have Chinese session. Yeah? And then, now I heard, when they have common class, you know how many? 15 to 20. That is the situation, very alarming. Yeah, so that day they say, oh yeah, can you all come up, Pangong Buddhi? Okay, I say I go and support. Yeah, so I went there also, but I was amazed by how they use technology, very advanced. Yeah, and they are also trying, some of them who are very into Dhamma, they are also trying to encourage people to come to the Dhamma. Yeah, and I heard because there's a change. When we are doing training for education, we have to couple with certain techniques that helps them to grow. Because you have to see audience. Like the Buddha always, when he talk to different levels of audience, he will talk different stage of Dhamma that it can embrace. So if to this group of people who are learning, let's say your children also, or in this aspect, is all the undergraduates. And so they go into very serious stuff, like sutta study, meditation, which is good, but not reaching to the majority. Like people say, when you have this hierarchy of development, the basic one, everybody will be the majority. Then from there, you start to build up. Yeah. But if you try to use the pyramid from the top, then you'll find you shrink, and at the end, we're missing. So you see, our Buddhist approach also is very important. Yeah. So after the Pangong Bodhi, I also share with them. I say, you all remind me of 34 years ago. I also stood on the stage. I was a dancer for Pangong Bodhi, and we are so famous, Dong Huang. Until we go and perform in MCA Hall, we go and perform in this Tian Hao Temple. And I was also a dancer in the Pangong Bodhi. Yeah. So by the fact they see, I was a dancer, now I'm a nun, you see. I mean, nothing wrong with that, right? Because that time I was, learning from university, and I love to sing hymn song because it rhymes with us. When you sing, the meaning of the song is important. The lyrics is important. So we are using the means to help to bridge. So if you take away of that, then sometimes it becomes very serious stuff. Which, yes, is good, but not many people can be serious yet. So you have to provide different platform for growth. So that is also very important. So like being Buddhist, it doesn't mean we have to be very serious Buddhist. When people see us, how cannot smile? I said, that's not Buddhism, come on. Buddhist should be a happy one, you see. Where did you see a Buddha image which is like, not smiling? It's always serene, smiling. Yeah, so this is how we should develop. Yeah. So even to teach or to bring Buddhism to others, we also need to have different platform for them to come in. So that's why I told the president for the fellowship, I said, you are doing good now. The way I look at the Pangong Bodhi, the message, the Dhamma through drama. But they package it in such a good way, the message, And at the end of the show, they invite them and say, would you like to join us? Of course, out of the unintentionally planted seed, the audience was so amazed with the teaching through the drama, and they were so into the teaching. And they say, yes, we will join you. Yeah. So you see, you have to use the different means to bring about the Dharma in them, to plant the seed. Yeah. So these are also Dharma, but using different means. Yeah. Singing hymn songs, some teaching to Dharma. So hopefully when it's planted, then they can grow through that, because we never know. Just my senior told me, when I was in university, she was the first one that teach me meditation, metta meditation. And today she's an international trainer. She always, when we were together, she will always introduce. Now she is faster than me. Yeah. But in any way, I still admire her very much. She practiced metta very well. Yeah. She's a teacher and then later become trainer. Yeah. So all these we can help to bring about. Yeah. So the women, like I say, as a mother, they have a nurturing quality. Even if they are single, they also have this nurturing quality. Right? And this is the package of being a woman. Right? We have this nurturing quality, patience, endurance, and these are all very good qualities of the mind. Yeah? And now, like I say, through education, I think women in Malaysia can do much more. Yeah? And for the women in Malaysia, like I say, in 2009, I was presenting a paper on the lay Buddhist, lay and ordained Buddhist teacher, female teacher. And I went to a few centers in KL, in Penang, Malacca, Sarawak. And when I interview, how many percent women in temple? Mostly supported by women? Nearly 80%. Yeah, 80%. So in this, you're better. Yeah, most temple. And Sunday school teachers, how many percent also? Also around 80%. You see the role of women? So you are doing a lot of great job. But come to renunciation, how many? Yet two, okay? You see, this is where, because women give birth, right? And because of that attachment, yeah? So they can do all the nurturing job and all those things. But when you say come to renunciation, then very easy. They pack their bag, they go. Isn't it? Because the connection of women to a baby, that 10 months, is where a lot of attachment are built. Yeah. So in this respect, of course, there's challenge. Everything they do, they always think about the children. That's why the Buddha equate in the Karanyamatta Sutta, the Buddha said, just like a mother, who will risk her own life, just for that particular child. That is how great women is when they come to that kind of boundless love. No matter how the child is, whether good or bad, the mother is always there for them. So in this respect, also got its own shortcomings because of that attachment. And you'll be surprised, as a mother, I look back at my grandmother. When my grandmother, she was a great-grandmother, and my uncle, first uncle was a grandfather. This grandmother can still concern about my uncle's wife. My uncle's wife didn't prepare breakfast for the husband. And she was so concerned that she would make the coffee for my uncle. Can you imagine? She was already a great-grandmother, and my uncle was already a grandpa. That is how attached it is, as a mother to a child. To a mother, the child never grew up. And that is a big mistake. So to all the mother here, I would like to remind you, when the child has really grown up, you have given them the education, everything. After that, you have finished your job. Understand? You have done your job as a great mother. And when they're young, you nurture them well, send them to Sunday school, give them the proper guidance, coach them to become a good human, and then give them education so they can earn a living one day. And after that, your job finished. But they very reluctantly want to sign off. Right? So please, remember that. The next stage that you have is, when the Buddha's time, when those kings, even when there's one strand of white hair that appear in their hair, they will say, it's time to let go and to go forth to become more spiritual, to cultivate the mind. That is wise. You know why? When one white hair comes to your head, don't go and dye it. Don't try to camouflage and cheat yourself that you're still young. This body can never last. Even the Buddha's body has to lay down. What more our body? So when one white hair comes to your head, your hair, remember, it's time. It's time to put down all the worldly things and then work for the spiritual part. So what is this? Like I said, being a Buddhist, a better Buddhist, whether for male or female, is that the Buddha said, in order truly to develop, because this precious human life, for us it only lasts for the most 100 years. Malaysia standard, apparently female live longer than men. You're better in that sense. But the answer, I don't know what. Apparently they said Malaysian, I think 75 for the men, 78 for the female. Normally men say, I go first. You know why? They're scared. Without the wife, difficult for them. So they rather want to go first. And so you see, women have longer life in Malaysia. So remember, so if let's say 3 years extra, that is where you really, full time. But when you're old, a bit difficult. So the Buddha advises, we need to realize, we need to be awakened that our human life is very precious. While we are being a human, our intelligence is the highest. And whether we are using this intelligence for higher wisdom, for enlightenment, is your choice. But if you don't make that choice, so sorry, we do not know when we will have this human mind again, human body. Right? So it is very precious, so we have to really dedicate time to do so. And in order to do so, the Buddha gives very simple formula. I say, Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Dana, Sila, Bhavana. But I say, in a temple, women are famous, unbeatable in offering dana. Right? The dana food, the dana time, the dana service, the dana many things. So the next one, observing sila, is the second stage, which is the foundation for the development of the mind. So in temple, we hope that as a Buddhist, we come to the temple to also observe sila, to practice, where we can continue to cultivate our, instead of harming, then we cultivate to save life. Stealing, abstain from stealing. What we do a lot of generosity and charity, which everyone is doing. And third one, sexual misconduct. We know that in reality, we know that female, they observe this precept better than men. Right? Agree or not, women? The precept? I think you all agree, women observe better. The fourth precept, this one very challenging, whether male or female, they say. To abstain from untruthful speech, then malicious speech, and then unpleasant speech, or harsh speech, and then gossiping. but women are very famous for gossiping. So we got to be better than that. Yeah, talk beneficially. Yeah, talk beneficially. And especially now with the handphones, it's even more dangerous. Right? Whether true or untrue, just one button. Yeah, so we have to screen through all this. Yeah? So these are areas or aspects that we can learn and understand, and whatever is wholesome, we do more. Unwholesome, we cut down. Right? So talk more beneficially, more pleasantly, then brings harmony and also truthfully. Right? The last part, I think also women do better. What they call? Not taking drugs, abstain from taking drugs, intoxicants, or the alcohol. But that being so, we also see that there are rise of women who smoke, who drink. So because of the influence, but hopefully still women are still better in this. So hopefully to keep the mind clear and more developed, we should do more meditation. So dana, sila, bhavana. But we can see a lot of Buddhists are missing on the bhavana aspects. Right? So the Buddha said the path that leads us to ultimate happiness and freedom is the Noble Eightfold Path. And out of these 8, which is right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, then right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Out of these 8, 3 are under the sila, right speech, right action, right livelihood. The other 5 is all talking about the mind. But very few people touch this area. Very few Buddhists touch this area. Just as we said, where's that? A lot of people are not here? A lot, 10,000. Right? Then when you come to Dhamma talk, 1%. Come to meditation, 0.1%. You see, But the actual Buddha Dhamma, being a Buddhist, is actually what is the main goal. The main goal, the Buddha says, is none other than Nibbana. Because without that, we will go through samsara. So just look around us every day. What do you hear? What do you see? You see suffering? Hear suffering around? Every day. If not the politician fighting, then house, then neighbors, friends, employer, employers, employees, all this, a lot of suffering. Somebody die, somebody accident, somebody sick. Every day around you, do you hear that? But have this awakened us? So that's why the Buddha is only interested to teach us, to let us know. Look around you. What do we go through? Within us, what do we go through? Are we happy? Do you feel very free? Or do you feel something is missing? So if we have not found that peace within us, this is where the cultivation of the mind is important. So important in a way that we have to realize even how do we cultivate, also very important. The attitude of learning and practicing. So that's why the Buddha told that, of all people that come to, let's say, to temple to listen to Dhamma talk, you ask yourself, how many will remember? Which one more? The one that remember or don't remember? And the Buddha asked whether, the one that remember, how many, which one more again? The one that remember, how many put it into practice? Which one more? And the one that put it into practice, which one more again? The one that will gain, the Buddha said, will gain the first jhana, right samadhi. Then, of all who gain first jhana, which one more again? How many will gain the second jhana? Again, of all the one that gain second jhana, how many will gain third jhana? Then fourth jhana. Then the ultimate understanding the insight and liberation. So this again is the attitude of being a Buddhist. Yeah? And so when we heard about the Dhamma, it is good, but do we remember? If we don't remember, how are we going to practice? So this is very important. And the culture that we have today is we don't want to remember. We are not trained to remember. Right? Because why? No machine can remember for us. So our mind become redundant. Yeah? We try with the young children, very interesting. We try with the young children. When they teach young children, especially when they are in primary, early primary, their mind are so good in absorbing things. We try out, don't want to give them paper reading. Just like in the old days, you learn from a teacher, teacher recite, you recite, teacher recite, you recite. But after that, you can remember. Yeah? So we try with them. We recite, then the children recite. So I recite, then they recite. I recite, then they recite. Then repeat, repeat, repeat. Then after that, they can remember. No paper, nothing, but listening. So in the past, we say, by hearing. Now our hearing capacity is near zero. We don't even have patience to listen to another. Isn't it? Even people talk to someone, you see, nowadays, when people talk to someone, they don't even look at them. Right? So you got to check yourself, are you one of them? Right? So this is where, we have lost all the important essence of learning, the attitude, the culture of practicing. So when we don't have this, then we will see that less and less people practice. So what can we do? So it has to start with ourselves. Like the Buddha said, it's the development of the being. And whatever we do, it's not about who is better, but check, are we learning better? Are we practicing better? Are we realizing better? The Dhamma, the profound way to liberation. So these are the key things to a Buddhist practice. So like I said, Noble Eightfold Path, 3 are Sila, 5 are mental development. This is very lacking in the Buddhist society. So we hope that it's good to start somewhere. And now even in Arya Vihara, we try to start, we give a free workshop on mindfulness, like children mindfulness workshop. Yeah? And we purposely make it in a focus group, like 20 over packs. We can see that parents are quite responsive, to sign up for this kind of program, like teens mindfulness workshop. So we hope that through this initiative we can help to help the children and the teens or even adults to help themselves, to look within their own mind so they can correct themselves. Because no one can help us unless we want to help ourselves. So again, I said, being a Buddhist, we have to know what the Buddha taught and how we can help ourselves to improve those qualities that is helpful in our life, and also not for this life, and for the next, if we didn't finish it. And of course, ultimately, the goal is to be free. Because everyone wants to be happy, and everyone wants to be free. So it doesn't mean externally, but internally. Because externally, sometimes you say, I don't have time to meditate. And you think that externally there are so many things that engage you that you cannot do so. But when you come for a retreat, then you start to know that not because external problem, it's internally you're in chaos. The mind just couldn't stop thinking. And this is where does the problem come from? Not external. Internally we are not at ease. Internally we don't feel secure. This is where that we have to look out. So if we keep looking outside, we can never find the truth. So you have to spend time to look within. A lot of times we always mistaken that things come from outside. But how can you see? You see things, you think it's from all outside things. But what sees? Your retina, right? Is inside you. Who hears? Your ear, right? It's inside you. That is how you perceive. Not the external thing, but internally. Yeah? That's why the Buddha said, this is the world. This make up your world. Yeah? Without eye, you will have 1/6 that is cut off. Yeah? The world that makes you. Yeah? And the understanding. But the world comes from within. So we have to work from within. Yeah? And when we understand the way, then we'll be able to become a better Buddhist, whether for men or for women. Alright? So I think I've covered what I'd like to say. And of course, I say we have certain qualities of the woman which is good, which is better than men. Then there are other qualities that the men have, but which women do not have. They're better. Right? But in reality, to what we call different group, in a monastic, we see that men are more than women, bhikkhus are more than bhikkhunis. And for the upasaka and upasika are more than upasaka. Yeah? So they complement each other. And this fourfold sangha is important to continue to bring forth the Buddha Dhamma for more and more Buddhists to be practicing on the path. Because when they are practicing on the path, they will bring a lot of harmony, peace, and progress for the people and for the world. Alright? So thank you very much for your attention. So you have any questions?
Questions, brothers and sisters? We invite questions from everybody. Okay, please take this opportunity to ask questions. It's very rare to have a Venerable Sumangala Bhikkhuni here for a talk. He's also super busy.
Maybe I would like to make a comment about what Venerable said, that we are supposed to be a Buddhist, but the understanding of Buddhism is zero at a certain stage of our lives. I just want to share my own experience. I was born so-called Buddhist. We just staying, every morning, 5 places, King God and Heavenly God and all that, ancestors and all. So we never had an image of Buddha or Kuan Yin in our home until I finished Form 5. So I still call myself Buddhist, without understanding anything. Then when I was working, there was one shop which displays some Buddhist books, free distribution. And among them were little booklets of our late chief. And I used to pick up his, because it's easier to read. You can read it anywhere. So I read it on the bus on my way to work. And that had already planted some seeds already, and I read a little bit. But what pushed me very fast into Buddhism was, one day one Malay girl, I think she's either doing a survey without any written thing. Maybe a Islamic student somewhere. So she says, what religion do you belong to? I very proudly say I'm a Buddhist. Then she says, can you tell me a little bit about Buddhism? Wow, I thought to myself, and I looked at the sky for some answers, maybe some written words in the sky. And I say, Buddhism is, and then I know here and there, and I couldn't tell her what is Buddhism. And that made me very, very shy. I think that was even before I read the little booklets, so it was too long ago. And so I quickly picked up the information and read about it. And then and then someone gave me a book on a lecture's book, what Buddhists believe. And I said, good, I must read this book before this lady asked me. So I put it on my shelf in my office, and said one day I'm going to read it. And it sat on my shelf until I retired. And I never read it. And I never met the late chief, Unfortunately, the condition was not there to lead me, because I didn't know where the Buddhist centers are. Nobody shared with me where. And then, if I sound very I just walked into Buddhist Mahavihara, and everybody, either they chanted in Pali, which I didn't understand what the language it was. So I walked in and out, of this Mahavihara for many years. Just saw the Vesak Day, the floats and all that, and I left. Didn't manage to talk to anybody. So when I retired and had more time, I wanted to find out where the Buddhist centers are and to learn a little bit of Buddhism. Then I didn't know where also. Because some of friends said, why do you go to Buddhist Jail Fellowship? I said, where is it? She said, it's in section 19. I said, it's Sea Park, so very near. I said, oh good, I must go there and see what it's about. So then I took a basic course in Buddhism. Then they had an intermediate course, which I took. Then after that, they say, oh, we have a Dharma speakers course. Do you want to join? I said, what? I only intermediate course. How do I become a Dharma speaker? I cannot know. They said, never mind, you can still teach little children. So I thought, yeah, maybe I can get away with it, teaching children, simple ma. So I said, okay. So then only and then met the late chief also. Before that, I met the late chief, very strange, as one of the forum speakers in the forum. And we were among the speakers. I was on HIV/AIDS. So I met the late chief. I didn't know who he was, but I just paid respect, and that was first time. And Dharma speakers course, the late chief was the one who presented me all the Dharma books to read. That was the second time. That's very strange. So then someone tricked me to doing the master's program in Buddhism. I didn't know what course it was. They said, oh, we have a very good speaker, Brother Yong Song Kong. He's a very good speaker. I said, okay, let me listen what he says. And I didn't know it was a course by itself. And I was so impressed by him. Then later it was Brother Tan Ho Soon, another speaker. Then he said, you have already done Brother Yong's course. Why don't you do the assignment? He has got assignment. I said, what? Then talk also got assignment one. Yeah. So I did the assignment. It's very easy. It's just very easy to pass on. 50% get passed already. So I also did that. And after that, he actually got an exam, for that paper. Why don't you do the exam? No way. I said, I'm already enough with studies. I'm not on paper chase. I just want to learn about Buddhism. So, it's very easy. The passing mark also about 50% only. Then out of curiosity, I took it right now. So, and then I had to pay 600 ringgit for one paper. So I said, okay, 600 is all right. Because I got pension and retirement. So I paid every paper. Then it led to 13 papers. I didn't even know there were so many papers. So 13 papers. I said, you don't have to pay the 600 ringgit if you get 80% pass mark. Bhikkhuni Sumangala was among the students that we studied together. She had, classes in the house to coach us how to do better in the exam. So I am very thankful for those opportunities. So then some papers I got about 80% mark, which I can claim back half, 50% off on the payment. But I really didn't I don't want to get back the 50%. Paid in full. So I'm very glad that in 5 years, it's a part-time course, so under IBC in the college. So I got that bit, passing the certificate.
So actually, you see a lot from donor to somewhere. And I think if you look at around, our Buddhist approach is always a self-initiative. Yeah. But I think maybe we can play a more proactive role. Because I observe around, for example, when maybe we are a bit shy to approach people, to introduce people to good things. You think so or not, Buddhists? They're a bit shy. And I see other people when they have great faith, because they understand, they were conditioned to have that faith, And when faith arises, you will talk very confidently to others that, hey, this is the path, So that's why Buddhists, we need to ground them more in a way in their practice, And what we do also in area is that because after observing sometimes, it's true what Barbara mentioned, Pali is a very, very good language and very soothing, even when chanting, very healing, very meditative. But for a lot of Chinese, now the way I observe them, they go into more on the Chinese script because, you know why? The language. Do you know I'm from a Malay school? Now I got to teach meditation in Chinese. I learned to speak now. How it started, I was like, amazed because the Kalanta Metarama invited me last year to conduct a retreat 4 days, 3 nights there. So they draft some information to make a poster. So when they sent to my sister, my kapia, so I just briefly look date, time, whatever. Okay, correct. That's it. Because some portion is like not snapped there. Then when the poster came out, I started to realize, what they write? First day, Dhamma talk Mandarin. Second day, Dhamma talk Hokkien. Third day, Dhamma talk English. Wow. So I said, since when Reverend know how to talk Dhamma talk in Mandarin and Hokkien? But anyway, the poster was out. So then I said, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me too. So then I take the opportunity, so I might ask my sister, can you please go and get me those Bante talk in Hokkien, in Mandarin? So I listen. Oh, okay. If I want to say Noble Evil Path, Mandarin, what is this? Then, 3 signage, what is that? This, So okay, so I pick up some of this. So I went there, I told them, I said, my first apology, I said, I never give talk in Mandarin again. So bear with me, I said. And then I said, if I cannot come up with the word, I said, I will say it in English. I know that some of you should know English. Then you let me know what is a Chinese word, right? So okay, the talk went well. And when at the end of the talk, I said, do you all understand? He said, yes. And since then I thought, why not, And then back then, last 3 months or 4 months, a devotee invited me to house dinner. And the main request, oh Reverend, they request, can you speak in Chinese? You see now, their request, speak in Chinese. So I said again, I explained to them, I said, my Chinese is half one, So I try, I say. So I went there, then there's some uncles, auntie came. And then after finish the talk, question and answer, then suddenly one of the uncle asked me, oh Reverend, can we learn meditation from you? I said, can, if we can bring a few person, inform a group, you come, then okay, I will try to teach, but in Chinese. So I said, you have audience, but no teacher. So the teacher have to also learn. So I said, okay. I said, you come, you bring up people, come. So there are about 8 or 10 of them. So sometimes there are 12, 14. So start somewhere. People are interested to learn. So if we say no, that's it. Less and less Buddhist. So I say, okay. So sometimes I talk Mandarin a bit. I plus a bit of Hokkien, then I plus a bit of English. And also learn from them some new Mandarin words. And nowadays I say, wow, Reverend, you have progressed a lot, your Mandarin. Because day by day, you talk to them, and then, they start to also get the idea, and, so you can see they are very appreciative. So you see, there's a trend of, so that's why when we chant Pali, now I still teach them chanting, recite Pali, they recite Pali, then they read the English word, the Mandarin version by themselves, because I don't know how to read. So they will read the Chinese, so they will understand what they are reciting. So this is where we have to analyze, we have to observe, our approach. Because if we don't change our approach, sooner or later, we'll lost them. Because why? They couldn't understand. once a person don't understand, they cannot embrace because they don't know what you're doing. Right? Now even if like for our Dharma talk, sometimes I ask a devotee who knows Chinese English, I say, can you summarize 5 minutes? Yeah, so some announcement also we'll do dual language. English, then speak a bit of Chinese. Yeah, because sometimes some in a group, they may not be the majority yet, but the minority may be loud. But if we don't address them accordingly, then they won't come. Yeah. So these are the areas that we have to also look into for the Buddhists to grow. Because now, why others like the English side, because they are all a bit more westernized. So the tendency is, they will go to other group. The Chinese one, they are very Chinese now. Yeah, I mean, in our society now. In university, I say, the English group died off. Even Chinese group, very small population. If you cater for just very serious stuff, you don't preach, you lose them again. Yeah, so these are the areas I think we all have to also take consideration to propagate the Dhamma. Yeah. So different changes. Like this Vesak, we are also going to celebrate our Vesak, open to public. And one of the ideas that I have is, of course, to educate the public. We Buddhists also have a rich teaching. Yeah, most of the time when I show them the Tipitaka or the Sutta, they say, wow. Sometimes they say, that's why Buddhists never carry their Bible. Others only got one book, right? We have just only Sutta. They talk about the 4 translated by Bhikkhu Bodhi, and the 15 volumes of the Khuddaka Nikaya. Yeah. I said, but we have to stress them. The Buddha actually have taught us, and we have rich teaching in every aspect of your life. They can make good use for a happy and progressive life. Yeah? So this is one part that we want to teach them, guide them. Of course, then you can tell them, you can check with internet, but at least they have an idea. Yeah? And then the next thing is for us to also introduce and let them know. Because a lot of time they don't know where to get help, but they got problem. Buddhists. Then at the end they go to other religion. Because what? They don't know. So this time also we are inviting also Gautami Vihara, and we also told the committee to focus maybe a bit more on Buddhist social service. Introduce them. If you have problems, where you can go. Right? We can introduce, let's say in area we have counseling, family counseling. Let's say phone counseling, we can say you can go to BGF. We get all the cards. Okay, if this, you go here. If this, you go there. So we introduce to them because they don't know. Yeah, when they have problem, where to go? The Buddhist is not there. So this is where also we are doing good, but we didn't introduce further. So some of our Buddhist friends, they may be in trouble, but they don't know where to go. Yeah, so like Kasih Hospice. When elderly are sick, how can we help? Yeah, so it was very helpful. I mean, Kasih Hospice, sometimes difficulty comes, and at least they get the service of, doctor coming to the home to visit, especially those terminally ill. So I think we have all this. If you want to get married, also can go to Subang or go to BMA to register. We should introduce, because they don't know. They thought we are only paper sheet. Isn't it? The perception, we have to change the perception. How? We have to introduce. If we don't introduce, nobody knows. They always think, Buddhists, especially with Theravada, they always say very focused on yourself. So that's why sometimes they label us very selfish. Which we are not, right? But how come they perceive that way? Yeah, so then we have to change. We have to bring back, what truly the Buddha has actually, our compassion for many. Yeah, that's how I think the approach that we can bring forward to others. And then the learning activity, Dhamma activity, that when we say reach out, what we are reaching out. We also have to be very focused. Yeah, so very focused on what are the charity that we are bringing up. So I think all these services are very important because it touches people's life. It is when you touch their life, that's how they will feel the faith will build up. And also I think like activity for pilgrimage is also very helpful to build up the faith in the Buddhists. Yeah? When they go, they understand. Yeah? So those activities can help to build up faith. When people have faith, they will have that kind of what do you call strength for themselves and for others. Yeah. Another thing I like to also highlight is like a lot of times when we say why the young one is shy to say that they are Buddhist, especially when they are teenage. When they are in the Sunday school, you ask them to pray, bow, they will. When they go teenage, you find a bit difficult for them. Why? Because now their reasoning, the brain for reasoning is green. So now they reason, why should I bow? Because we also never teach them. We think, go in the shop, bow, bow. Only we teach them bow. Why? We never teach them. Who is the Buddha? Yeah. And why we should bow to the Buddha? And that is an image of Buddha, the representative. Yeah. Because sometimes they are bombarded with, Buddhists are praying to the, they say idol worship. Isn't it? You hear so much? Yeah. But we have to educate our young ones. In one of the youth camp also, in Telok Intan, they invited me to go there first year. They were a bit worried because they give me a few sessions which they have not for in the past years. They want to bring the Dhamma back instead of just fun thing in the youth camp. So that year I went, and so I started to share with them. I said, let's look at who the Buddha is. And then when I talk to them, I say, do you also get this kind of statement from friends? And I was saying, you see, many of them were not their head. And then I asked them, I said, which religion don't have object one? A lot of us also as adults, we don't know. I said, now look at, I said, Hindus got a lot of objects, image or not? I said, yes. Buddhists? Yes. I said, Christian? Some say yes, no. But I said, you look, have or not? Then I said, oh, Mother Mary, the cross, Jesus Christ. Yes. What about Islam? I said, he showed their head. Think again, I said. Then after that I said, where do they keep blood to when they pray? Then they think, Mecca. Which direction? Kaaba. I say, so which religion do not have a symbol for connection? It's not the object, it is the connection to something spiritual. So, not Buddhists are idol worshipper, neither do they. Yeah, this object is to help us to connect. I say, imagine you come to this shrine, there's no image. So you look around, it looks like a house also. Right? But you put one image there, different. You come in also have to be more spiritual. Yeah? And automatically you put your hands together, you go and pay respect. Why? Because you connect to something spiritual. Yeah, the idea of the spirituality. So it's not only Buddhists, I say, all the religions have. So we have to educate our children well so that they understand. So when they do it, they don't feel that why we should do it, others also never do it. And then because they are also bombarded with all these kind of statements, then they ask their parents also don't know how to answer. Yeah? We Buddhists, we pray lah. I say, So that's why we say Buddhists, we go to the temple, we come and say bye bye, bye bye in Chinese, we say bye bye like that, then after that bye bye. Isn't it? They come in bye bye, very rush, they will go off bye bye. So that should not be the way. So as Buddhists, we come to the temple, not only we bye bye, but listen, because through the listening, then only we can make changes and progress. Through the understanding, then only wisdom can arise. Then when we are confident, we know what it is, then our children or whoever that in our house, they will be able to learn from us. Because why? We become the role model of a good Buddhist. Yeah? And this is very important. And especially those who are very inclined in meditation, I always tell them, after the retreat, don't go back and try to say to them, you don't do this, you do this. Then your family people, they will start to say, wow, this one after retreat come back, worse. Not more smiling and more understanding. And you say you're Buddhist and you go for retreat and how good it is, come back, they say become worse. So I said, you need to debrief. When I go back, this is home. What the Buddha taught us. Yeah? Loving kindness. You go back, more smiling. Yeah? So the attitude even of meditation, sometimes people get wrong. Yeah? Because they thought, meditation, you must get something also. Actually, meditation is about what? I said, the word meditation, I say, is loosely used now. Yeah? I say, you go there and sit and think a lot. Is that meditation? No. You go there and then you sit, you sleep. Is that meditation? No. That's why I said the Buddha never used the word meditation. He said, bhavana. Bhavana means what? Development of the mind. You may be sitting there quietly, but your mind is at peace, developing purity to the utmost, that you understand what the body and mind is all about and how you can be in charge, be master of your life. That is bhavana. Not sitting down and sleeping or sitting down and thinking a lot. Right? And not going for meditation to get this and get that. Then go nowhere. Right? So after retreat, you should be going back more smiling, more understanding. Then the next time you say, I'm going for retreat. Your husband or children say, yes, yes, go, go, go. Because coming back become better, more understanding. Not more scolding, Yeah. So you see, Buddhists, we have a lot of misunderstanding and misperception. So this is where it's so important. Yeah. So important for us to have the right understanding, proper guidance, and then be a role model to others. Alright? Thank you.
Okay, my sisters, sorry, due to the time constraints,